Okay, all the best.
Yeah. Awesome.
Sorry.
So,
Sorry
okay,
about
so
that, Karen.
I'm recording this. No, don't problem. No worries. I mean, it's great that to meet her. So it's great to meet Tanya. Okay.
Oh.
And so the reason I like the Genius is because it's accessible. It's really reasonably priced. And B, it works.
Yeah.
And so that's what I love about it. Now, you making a decision between, I wouldn't say make a decision between them because you could actually have them as an adjunct if you wanted to, because it wouldn't be a huge amount of money. So I'm going to screen share with you so that you can see what I'm talking about. So hopefully this works. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a client of mine that I treat on a regular basis. He doesn't have a quanticap, which is where we send the frequencies to, because he really likes me to be sending him frequencies. So I'm just going to go through as if I'm doing a session with him so that you can see what we can do with it. Okay, so I'm just going to continue with the new session. And so I'm not going to do the voice recording. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to begin a session with this photo. And the reason I'm not doing a voice recording is I don't want him to have his voice on your recording. So, but this is just an example. So basically what it does is it does an analysis with the voice. It's 80% of voice recording because the voice has a resonance and it can pick up on the nuances. So it can pick up on what's good and what's not quite so good. And then what I do is I put an affirmation through. So basically, any treatment that you give with this will have this affirmation frequency going through the treatment. So you know about words and how things are very, how words are spells and how they can create or destroy. And so I'm just going to put in, I am happy, healthy, and improving every day. And the other great thing I found with this, and you just press begin session. What the other great thing I found about this, Joanne, is that it's sometimes when you look at the screen, well, it certainly was of the Skio, and you show a client what's on the screen, very often it can be a bit scary. It can come up with this cancer, this, this disease thing going
Yeah.
on. And so, whereas this doesn't. So there's three ways of using this little gizmo gadget. So if we wanted to do, if I didn't have time, for example, to go through what I'm going to go through with you, I would there's a little timer here and you press the timer up there and if it's going to work on the computer and that's a minute. So basically you can do a quick balance. So it takes out the highs and the lows, which means that they're the imbalanced part of it, and it sends a treatment to my client. So basically I would, if I didn't have time to do a full-on test with him, I would do this for 15 minutes while I'm doing something else. So to make sure that he's getting what he needs at this present moment in time. And so this is just of the main overview. So there's a main overview page, and I'm going to go through it all with you in a minute. And so basically that's just sending a treatment. So that I'm just going to click that off. And so, and then we've got here, sorry, there's a bit of a delay with time with doing a screen share on it. But basically we've got biofield, we've got body, and we've got emotional. So in the biofield, we've got all of the solfeggios, and you just click on there and it takes you through the solfeggios. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag and drop any of the things that stand out for me and into the main hold tray, which is down the bottom. Now, what I mean by stand out is generally it's anything that's really high or really low. So really high is between 777 and 600. and anything below 200 is really low. And also, this is where intuition kicks in. You can put in anything that you think, oh, that could be really useful. And so basically with these, I'm just going to do this. Oops, no, I'm going to take you through that in a minute. It's actually quite interesting with this is that you can do this very quickly once you get used to it too. So unlike with the Skio, it used to take a couple of hours to really dive deep into it. This can be a lot quicker. Also with this one, we've got an aura thing. So we can do a before and after session with an aura photo. I would say though that some practitioners get totally and utterly obsessed with this. And personally, I think it's a little bit, yeah, I think it gets too obsessive. And so people tend to really dive into the nitty gritty of that if it's their thing, you know. But not much, I don't tend to worry too much about it. And then we've got meridians, and this is where it's really quite interesting. So, for example, if you get the kidney meridian, so it goes through all of the meridian points. And if you want to know if this particular meridian, so we've got here kidney 26 is really relevant. There's a little eyeglass thing here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yep.
And you click on it and it tells you what those points are really, really useful for. So cough, asthma, chest pain, vomiting. And so you can really hone it. So especially if you were like Belinda is, you know, as an acupuncturist, you could go through the acupuncture points that you've been treating your client with, and then you can send the frequencies to what's called the QuantCap, which is the client's access to the frequencies. And so this is where I think it would be quite useful for you to use either as a single sort of source or even as a double up when you find out on your other machine the diagnostics. Then what you can do is you can send the frequencies and things through the Genius to a QuantCap. Does that make sense, Joan?
No, the last bit didn't.
Okay, so what we do with the main, I'll remind me to share with you
Just
how
that
we,
last sentence
yeah.
didn't make
So,
sense. Yeah.
so basically, if we look at, we're putting these items into the main hold tray.
Yeah.
And what happens with this is I either do a treatment there and then, or I send those frequencies to another app that's on a client's phone, and
Right.
they stay there for 7 days.
Oh, I saw Belinda showed me those.
Yeah. So this is where it's a great adjunct.
Is that what you call a quantum cap?
Yeah, QuantiCap. Yeah. Yeah. So
Quantum cap, right.
basically, the QuantiCaps for the client, they work out about $100 depending on the exchange rate, but they're theirs for life. So there's no extra charge for that, except for what you choose as a practitioner to charge them.
Right.
So they have the QuantiCap, and that on the QuantiCap, there's the solfeggios and there's also chakra remedies built in. So they're there all the time. But that's another discussion, really. It's a bit of an intricate. So let's just do this and just go through. Oh, don't do that. I don't. It's so sensitive when it's on the la la la. No, stop it. Obviously, that I'm going to. Maybe I need to go there.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens, eh?
Yeah. So it doesn't want me to. I wonder if I can use my fingers. Yeah. Because I've got a touch screen, it's very sensitive. So I'm just dragging in some of the kidney points in because my client's definitely he's under spiritual attack because of what he's doing. And that's why I do it on a regular basis
Mm.
because he's part of the healing movement, like major part. And
Oh,
so
that's exciting.
yeah, he's very interesting. He's a very interesting man. And so Let's see if you're going to do that. No, you're not. Okay, let's see. Okay. And so you can drag the whole meridian down in if you want to.
Yeah.
So we'll put liver meridian in and conception vessel meridian, bladder meridian. And then what we can do is I'm just going to show you this. Oh, this isn't what I'd normally do. So then we can go through the chakras, sacred geometry, no jizz. Spiritual protection is a major for him. So auric protection, embracing the light, surround and protect.
How can you tell that he's under spiritual attack, Karen?
Oh, because of what I've been doing with him. He every time that I've done this work with him, there's always indicators that he needs spiritual help. And so he and so I've got a libraries, and I'll show you those in a minute, that I've created alongside so we've got all of these. We've got the body, and so I'm just going to go into body systems and see if stop it. So you're coming up with urinary today a lot. So you might be pissed off with something, of course. So what I'm going to do here, so we've got a urinary system, and you might have seen that when I've accidentally pressed something, it goes into what's called entangled insights. So this is where we can find out where the urinary bladder or any other part of him is being affected. So what we can do is we can look up all, which is the entire test matrix. So just so that you know, it has over 8,000 different homeopathics built into this, as well as batch flowers and the bacteria and the cancers and everything else. And so what I'm just going to do here for simplicity is load the entire test matrix. So there is thousands upon thousands of things that we can check against. And so, and I'm with this because it is so complex, I'm looking for 100%. And as you can see, he's being affected by chlorine. And so we basically drag chlorine into the main whole tray. I only look at 100% with this test matrix, though. I only look at that. And so it's really quite interesting that it's only chlorine in there, because normally there's loads. So he's
I
doing
can
well.
see there's a lot of similarities here between us and the I've started my training for frequency,
Yeah.
and I can see quite a lot of similarities.
There is a huge amount of similarities, but what I love about this, I'm just going to go into today's stress, and then I'm going to take you into the greatest, I feel, is the greatest potentiality with this, and that is the libraries. And because you, as a practitioner, can then load your own libraries. And what do I mean by that? Okay, so here we are. If we go down to, so we've got mind as well, so we've got emotional, we've got all the hormones,
Yeah,
and everything else. Then we've got custom libraries. So these are my custom libraries. These are my own libraries that I've created with the frequencies and things. And also I can share a lot of them. So if practitioners would like a bone density one, or organ therapy is the organ therapy is that's one library that I created with.
what's that for?
So hang on, I'm going to show you if it lets me in. Okay, so what we've got is we've got a lot of aggregation remedies. So the aggregation remedies are all about helping the body release. So these are the organ therapies, or organotherapies are remedies that I've created over the years, which help with various different things. So as you can see, aggregation pancreas support sugar cravings and that sort of thing. So it's sort of like that's the great thing. So for example, if you are thinking of using a range of products, for example, you can load those products into a library.
Yeah.
And
What's up the frequency of the product?
Yeah, it picks up the frequencies. So basically I have a tray that I attach to my phone, and then I put my product on the tray and press read, basically, and it
Yes.
picks up the frequencies and puts those frequencies in. And so, for example, if you're treating someone with lymphatic lymphoma or anything like that, you can really, really target certain things.
So you could put something like ivermectin, say,
Absolutely. I've got
onto your
ivermectin.
tray,
Yep.
and and then that could be on a person's library, and they can
Yep.
give themselves ivermectin every day, the frequency of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that would reduce. I mean, we were paying because when Gary got vaccine damage, we were paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars of ivermectin to keep him alive at one stage.
Absolutely. And this is the beauty of this. So, and you can put them in at different potencies too.
Now I'm starting to see that rather than us selling pills to people, which I don't want to do, I hate pills.
Yes.
We could augment this with that by giving people a frequency category
Hmm.
on their phones that they can. This is pretty special. Can you do
It's
that
a
with a? Can you do that with a biofeedback at all? You can't, can you?
Not so much, no. With the biofeedback, you can make a remedy, but it's not nearly so targeting. So you can't put your own remedies in it, for example. You have to get them to put it in. If they, I don't think they do anymore. I don't think they do that.
Yeah.
They have
Um.
their own ranges that they'll put in.
Yeah, I noticed on Brian's machine that they've got lots of homeopathics and
Mm,
other things on it.
mm.
Like, for instance, there might be arnica on it, and he can zap you when you're there and
Yeah,
give you the frequency of arnica. But that's just then, and they've got to come back to you,
yeah.
in 3 weeks or 4 weeks before they can do that again. Or, like for instance, my partner, he takes par
Cardiaco. Yeah,
yeah, for his leukemia, and he takes another bark remedy for his prostrate,
yeah.
which is I can't remember what that is now. He rather than keep on buying with his pills, he could actually just have those on his machine and just zap
Absolutely.
himself every morning.
Absolutely. Yes.
This is
Because
incredible stuff. I love
so
this.
what I get my clients to do is to play the frequencies, or if you put it on your phone and you
Mm,
have a glass of water, you can put your phone next to it and the frequencies will imprint into your water.
yes, I've actually got some amazing water here called Soul.
Yeah.
Oh, have you heard of that up in
Yeah.
Auckland?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's got and they put words underneath it.
Yeah. Well, you can
So,
do that with yourself, you can do that with
mm,
your own water,
yeah,
and the thing is how valuable that is. But this is what I love about all of this is it's as limiting as your imagination. And I know, Joanne, you've got a very, very vivid imagination. So
I'm a
and
creative writer. I write
yeah,
children's stories, Karen.
yeah. And you've got a deep belief in this sort of medicine. So of course that's a
I'd say
match made in heaven.
it saved my partner's life, and he had no belief.
Yeah.
And look, and my sister just had cancer recently, and she's now in the clear. It's and I just want to help a lot of people because I think it's marvelous, and I know a lot of people aren't open to it, but more and more people are, Karen. This is the time is
Yeah.
turning.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, I mean, you can imagine what it was like in 1990
Oh,
trying
you're a
to
trailblazer.
yeah, trying to share this sort of I mean, of course it wasn't as advanced as this, but
Mm.
this to me is a really valuable tool where we
Yeah,
can really share the most amazing ability to help one another. And
yeah,
so as you can see, this is I've got a few libraries here. So
yeah. I
basically
can see that.
we've got past life solution things, and we've got angels, and we've got yeah, so there's an awful lot of different like sprays and chemicals and all of that sort of stuff. And also we've got I've got a
So, can you
library.
detox people? Can you
Absolutely,
detox people from sprays? Oh my God!
absolutely. That's what it's sort of designed. So if you look at the sprays and chemicals one,
mm,
those are remedies to help eradicate all of those. So it's
Mm.
hundreds. So we got round.
Well, so,
Yeah.
and you, how do you know, how does it assess what you're dealing with? Is there, does it pick it up, does it?
So what it's doing here, so as you can
Is
see,
it,
now this particular man, he
yeah.
did growing. So he grows, you can imagine what I'm talking about. Um,
Yes.
and he supplies the whole of the North Island. So
Right.
he's being targeted with various different, so he might not be being targeted by these actual products, but he'll be targeted by the frequencies that those actual products are being utilized. So basically these will go into
Mm.
the cold tray. Oops.
I saw glyphosate there. So you
Yeah.
can get rid of glyphosate in people.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So the thing about all of these things, whether you're talking about your other lovely machine or whatever, is we have to get people in a habitual way of frequencies. So you can get, so for example, when your husband went and had treatment with Gary,
Mm.
he would have changed his frequency totally. But what happens is gradually our frequency goes back to its habitual way of being.
Yeah.
And so if you don't keep on going back, then what happens is, and you don't go long enough, what happens is we slip back into that frequency. But if you have this going and you use these frequencies on a regular basis, so 2, 3 times a day, then your body, it's
Mm.
like exercise, your body gets in a habitual level of frequency fitness.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. And so
You know, another thing, I've got another question for you. Recently we went to the NZDSOS conference, and when we
me
were
too.
there, we oh right, yes, and when we were there, we checked our bloods, and you'll be familiar with Dr. Dearling then, wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Yeah. And we went into the following day on Monday. We went into the chemist, they've got happening at the back of their clinic, and I got to talk to Matt quite a bit. And I saw all the hydrogels and all the nanotechnology in the blood. And Matt's trying to bring in a green light 528 hertz machine from China, so that basically it can knock the hydrogels back out of your body. So would this machine be able to deal with that?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So so basically you can create a library for that sort of thing. So what you can do, so this is what I tend to do when I tend to sort of like go into my research mode to find the frequencies, is I go searching for the frequency of um, knocking out hydrogels or whatever.
So 528 is the frequency. That's
So
what they found.
528, if you look at the solfeggios, so it's got a
It's the
library.
heart one.
Yeah. So
It's
you
the
can
it's
play,
the heart one.
yeah, you can play those on time. So if you go,
Right.
yeah,
Well, it's not just playing it. We also, what we did was we got our bloods done before,
yeah,
and then we sat. People were getting transfusions, and we actually just had bilingual. So we got a green light put underneath our tongue, and then we got our bloods redone again, and our hydrogels had been knocked back significantly. It was
yeah. It's
incredible to
keeping them
watch.
though, isn't it? It's keeping them there. That's the thing,
Right.
you know.
Well, we don't know
So,
because I mean I only did it there once there, so I don't know what my blood looks like now again. But I know we're constantly exposed.
yeah, we are. And so that's why having these frequencies and things playing on almost not a constant basis, but on a regular basis can really help. It's like detoxing whatever you're doing. So I take
Yeah,
my homeopathic things as well. So I think we need to be on a constant state of detoxification
I
support.
totally agree with that. But so you're talking about hearing, like sound vibration of 528. They use the light
Yeah.
frequency, the
Well,
green
you can
light. So
always,
what would be the difference between that? I'm not being because I'm still not trained yet. I'm started the training. I
so if
wouldn't understand why you would use sound and why you would use light. What would be the difference?
whatever rocks your boat, really. So basically the frequency is the frequency. So you can use light, you can use sound, and you can use water. So the memory of water. So for example, you could
Yes.
get a green light and you could put it through water,
Mm.
and that water would absorb that frequency into itself. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
then
I
you
know
could
how
take
that works.
water. So you could use that. So for example, what you could do, I don't know if this works, I don't know about hyperbaric chambers and things, but could you put some water into a hyperbaric chamber and have that water frequency of 528 or green light going into the hyperbaric chamber?
Yes. But what would that do? Because
Well, that
it's
would,
hyperbaric chamber is just putting pressure, oxygen into your body under
well,
pressure.
if you're putting oxygen in, then you're changing the frequency of the body anyway. But if you put in that color or that frequency through, you'll be putting it through the whole body.
Into the oxygen.
Yeah,
How would it go into the oxygen from the
I don't
water?
know.
Or
I don't
yeah,
know.
so I'm just trying to work that one
You
out.
could give them the water before they go in,
Right.
the water before they go out, when they come out, So it's just
Yeah.
getting you a protocol so you can observe what people, how they're
Yeah.
reacting. So
So, Karen, coming back to so we designed this IP
yeah,
so that what we do is we test people's frequencies, and then we relate it to the actual functions of a cell, how oxidized the cell is, how
yeah,
electrolyzed the cell is, how alkaline the cell is.
yeah.
And so we can do a measurement, which is the VAR. I hope you'll remember that. And then we can measure them later. And so they can see whether they're actually in a, in a good,
So
their cells are moving into a good environment or not.
yeah.
Um, so you've got people like a before and after, and they like to know that they've actually made some progress.
Well,
And that's part of our,
that's where the auric photo could be good too.
that will be very good. Does that show out any inflammation as well? Show inflammation on their
It
body?
shows I've got some information about what you look at in the aura, and
Yeah.
so I can share that with you because it's a really important component, because people
Mm.
love the look of the, look
Oh,
at
they
the
do.
aura.
Mm.
It often makes more sense to them subconsciously than all of the reports that you might be able to give them.
I totally, when I did actually get a test done at one stage, and it showed where the inflammation is in my body. And so we were going to put that in our reports. We were
Yeah,
going to do an aura scan on our reports from the biofeedback, so we could show them where their inflammations in their body were before and after.
yeah,
That's kind of what I know. People are mathematical. They want to know. I was, like Gary, he was at 136 for lymphoma, for leukemia. He's now down to 80. So to him, he now has got, and he's continually getting those
guideline.
results.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that to me is where the value is, because I feel that people are not as advanced as what you are, or believing as what I am at times. And so I have to give them, so my whole program is basically working with people with chronic diseases that are just normal people that don't have high belief systems, and they're just basically out of luck, and they just have come along, and
Right.
it needs, and that it needs to be measurable for them, and they need to, rather than trying to
Yeah.
spiritually awaken them up.
So let me just show you what else I
How
do.
could you do that?
So if we're
Mm,
going, there's so much to share with you, to be honest, with this. That
mm.
that
I'm really impressed.
so
Mm,
basically, if we've done a whole test, so we've gone through the whole matrix, we've
yeah,
gone and found out, and you can have 300 things in the main hold tray. It doesn't
yeah.
matter. And then what you can do, so we've got 49 at the moment. So we're just going to go into what's called the progressive insight. So then you basically rescan, and it gives us priorities. So it goes through the whole things that we've tested. And then basically, as you can see, my dear client, auric protection, and it's no surprises. So what we do then is with my client here is I clicks on the high ones, and then what I do is I just scan through and intuitively go, okay, chlorine came up as really high too. Um,
What would be causing him to get high chlorine? Is he not drinking clean water?
oh, he'll be drinking clean water. He'll be being sprayed, or
Oh, sprayed.
yeah. So it's all sorts of things. So, and then basically, I just go through anything that I feel would be useful for him. So heart, and all entities cleared. Might as well prevention is easier than cure. Um, and then just click on those. And then we've got a timer up here. And I'll put him on after we finished, but I'll just put it on for 2 minutes so we can. And I'm just the one, he's just getting a treatment for the ones I've clicked on. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I just press play. And I don't think you can hear the sound, but it's a bit tinkly. It's a bit like bells.
Yeah.
And if the people don't like having the sound on, then that's absolutely fine. They can turn the sound right down, but they'll still get the frequencies.
Yeah.
So the sounds are great. And they're really good if you're doing a treatment with someone. You can put earphones on, and you can actually get wristbands and things so they can be attached to the device so they can actually feel the frequency, but they don't have to be. And so this is
Yeah.
where it's sort of like, and then what we
It's
do
more
when,
for their belief.
yeah,
It's more for their belief than it than
yeah, absolutely
ours.
100%. If they're
Um,
wired up, they tend to feel as if it's part and parcel of the whole thing. So
absolutely.
a colleague of mine, she puts Bluetooth earphones on, and she gets her clients to just lay down and relax for half an hour and just plays those frequencies to them. Might adjust the frequencies after a session of 15 minutes or whatever. So just depending on what she feels they need. And so yeah, so you could actually, when your clients are doing other therapy, so if are you doing infrared sauna, or are you doing a wet sauna?
Want to do a traditional sauna,
Okay, yeah,
and then I want to do a HOCAT eventually, but I've got to save up some more money for that.
yeah,
Which is an ozone sauna and it has frequencies in it as well. Are you familiar with HOCATs?
no,
Oh, they're amazing. They
yeah,
really help move people out of chronic conditions. It's an ozone sauna basically,
yeah,
but it's got rife frequencies and light frequencies and all sorts of things in it.
yeah. So this has
Mm.
also got rife through it as well. So
Yeah.
and you can also put rife frequencies as a library as well. So for
Yes.
example, this is what my client's done at the moment. And so that's 2 minutes. So he'd got a 28% total improvement. So it shows you at the bottom how well they're
Yeah.
doing. And so if you need more, I mean, I'm always looking for over 50% improvement. But after a few minutes, that's not too bad. And so then what happens if you've got clients with quanticaps, you can export the ticked ones, or you could just select all or select high and medium,
Mm.
and you export it to a quanticap. So here's the quanticaps, and you just add your member, and you just add in whoever you want to, and then you just send it via email.
It's a lovely. It's so much nicer than. It's very integrated and it's very attractive
Yeah,
and very much more straightforward. The adductor is in the quantum biofeedback is incredibly complicated
very
system.
complicated. I remember learning the skio, and I was
Mm.
lucky because I'd already learned a lot about it, about this sort of technology before. So
Yeah,
I was really lucky, and so it didn't take me too long to learn it. But I can imagine if you've not done anything like it before, you've just observed a practitioner that makes it look very easy. It's mind-boggling, and
it
this is
is
what I,
mind-boggling, and the training is shocking. I've
yeah,
been I'm starting with the training, and it's appallingly put together. Yeah, I'm not impressed, but I do like the results that the quantum biofeedback gives.
yeah,
I mean, basically, Brian, I can say it to you, but I can't say it to clients, has been curing people of cancer.
mm,
And do you think that, I mean, that's how powerful it is. It's pretty amazing. Do you think? I mean, he's cured two cancers in my partner, and also my sister's cancer, skin cancer. And I know there's doctors in Wellington Hospital that are actually going to him as well because they've got cancer. So he's getting incredible results. Do
There's
you
some
think?
experts in the field of Genius Insight who have taken this above and beyond anything that I could think of, because that's not my area of, I don't really want to focus.
Mm,
I've done the incurables diseases for 10 years and it's not something I want to go back to.
yeah, I
But
understand that.
I've
Yeah.
seen these doctors that in the States. I was listening to an interview with them the other day, and oh my God, they've taken it next level. And
Mm.
they're really focusing on the spike proteins, detoxifying the jab. And I've got remedies in my thing for that, and I know it works. It works particularly well.
Well, I'll tell you what, I would be so interested in that because, I mean, in the network I'm in, we're all absolutely pissed off about it.
Yeah,
I mean, most of us are unjabbed, but we now have been shedded on. So we, and of course, my partner he produces spike proteins all the time. It's affected his, he's got, quite bad vaccine damage.
yeah.
Um, so I'm so interested in that.
Yeah, and so
Um,
basically, if we look at the QuantiCap, I'm going to see if I can, because with the great thing about the QuantiCap also is you can send the auric report to the QuantiCap.
yeah,
So, you've got all of that. I can try and, do you want me to share? Let's get out of this one.
yeah,
So
yeah. I
that's
do have,
basic. That's a basic
yeah,
I've just done. So,
yeah,
Um, and as I say, there's so much to it. So if we go
yeah.
into the back end here, which is the little three thing here, this is where the libraries are. So for example, these are my libraries, these ones here. And so what I've done is I've made clients libraries if I need to. So you could create a library for, say, Julie, who's come in for a cancer. You
Mm.
can create her own library.
Did you know that that's my sister's name? And she just went to Brian for cancer.
No, I didn't. Okay.
That was
That's
yesterday.
that's interesting,
That's
isn't
who
it?
I was talking about. You're
Right, okay.
tapping in there, Karen.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically there are so many different libraries that I've created. So we created one
Yeah,
especially for the parasite cleanse, for example.
yeah,
So basically I share it with any practitioner and you can use it, and so that's the great thing about this. And also you can create your own library. So for example, I just click on the little dot there, a little plus, and then you can create a library. So for example, you create a library for Julie and you add in the remedies that you want to add in. And so
mm,
you can create your own remedies and you can do it in various different ways. I'm not going to show you now because it's just a bit mind-boggling.
yeah,
But also what you can do is for someone like Julie or someone else who you're dealing with incurable diseases, for example, you can create what is called a custom playlist. And so what you do with that is you just ignore that. And you can create a custom playlist. So I've got a parasite cleanse playlist. I've got a headache playlist, 10 day to drop 3 kgs playlist. And
Oh, I
so
like that one, please.
yeah, you see, so I do programs and things with that. You see, that's my area of expertise, which I really, really have been focusing on for the last 14 years, is
Yeah.
weight loss. That's my
Oh, do you know what? I just can't lose it. I've been
no.
doing it.
You can lose it. You just need to find the right keys to
Uh,
unlock it. And so
oh, look,
that's
I've still got hope, Karen, but I have not found the right keys. I have done keto to death. I basically eat a paleo diet, and I just can't budge. I
you need to
want
do
to.
my program. That's what you need to do. So yeah. So
I know,
yeah.
but it's straight carnivore, isn't it? So I don't
No,
know
it's
if I.
not all carnivore. No, it's a low inflammatory foods. So
Yeah,
it's keto, but different. It's a different because the low inflammatory food list is basically my own low inflammatory food list from my experience of doing allergy testing,
Mm.
which I specialized in. And so
Yeah.
consequently, and I know it works 100% with everyone.
Well, it's interesting because I pretty well eat a keto diet and if not paleo diet. I have done keto lots of times. I've lost temporary weight on keto before and then I just can come back to the same
That's
weight.
because you haven't got rid of the root cause.
Yeah, I haven't.
Hmm. So we can talk
I've
about
always,
that another day. But
yeah,
basically, so what we could do here is you can make a custom, and if you're making a custom playlist, so let's do a create a playlist. So we can say allergy playlist, for example.
yeah.
And then you add item. So what you do is you go, this is for getting from, oh, ignore that. Just ignore the warnings. So you go back into body. And so for example, with allergies, there's always going to be a liver thing going on. There's always going to be pancreatic things going on, spleen.
Hmm.
Often will be skin as well. So we take that as well. And we just go through all of the things and add it to a playlist. And so very often when people have allergies, we'll put all of the electrical sensitivities in. And we've got chemical sensitivities. So if we go into those, and very often it'll be all of those. So we'll put all of those in. And basically you can build a list.
Yeah, I get it.
So, um,
I saw Belinda's playlist.
yeah. So this, and always there'll be spinal stuff going on as well. So for example, yours, if someone can't lose weight, I always look at spine because if your spine is slightly out of kilter, then your hypothalamus cannot remain in balance. And it's the
Yeah, definitely.
hypothalamus that is the main culprit of weight gain and remaining the weight
Yeah,
you.
and I have thyroid issues as well.
There we
So
go. So
mm,
the hypothalamus is in charge of our adrenals, our
yeah,
pineal, and thyroid. So they're all
I
in.
know it's from long-term stress. That's how I
Yeah,
initially put weight on.
yeah.
I don't
So
have those stresses anymore, but my weight's still there.
yeah. So if we look at that, so we've created a small playlist and we click save.
Yeah,
So that's saved into. So and you click save again and playlist added successfully. Now, it may or may not arrive into our main tray because often you need to update it to actually get into it. So we go into the plus sign here,
yeah,
and then you've got custom playlists.
yeah.
It may or may not arrive. Let's have a look.
This is so much more succinct and sharper
Yeah,
than the Bill from what's his last name? Nelson
yeah.
from you probably would have come across him in your time.
Oh, absolutely with the training. Yep, yep.
Yeah. Good. Is he a good guy?
He's bonkers.
Bit
He's a
bonkers.
genius. He's a
Yeah,
genius.
Jim.
There's no doubt about it. But he went a bit wayward. Oh, 2011, I think. Went a bit
Yeah.
wayward. I don't know what it's like now. But so
Well,
if you look at the playlist, so we just click on that allergy and all of those items go into the main hold tray. So now we've got 102.
yeah.
So
So would you play that playlist every morning, say when you're having your cup of tea or cup of coffee or whatever, and just do it on a daily basis? And so what I'm getting from this is that like with the quantum biofeedback, you've got to go and you've got to book and you've got to be with this practitioner. This is something that you can keep your body in the right frequencies daily.
absolutely. So how I work with it as a practitioner, so I'm sort of taking a step back from doing one-on-one practitioner work, but I do have my clients like Paul, for example, who's one of my clients, has been a client for a long time. I'm just working with him to protect him, and I've got others who I protect, do that work with. So what I do with that is so a lot of them have got a Quanticare. So I just do an analysis I do a quick analysis of them maybe every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then what I do is I make a playlist for them and
Mm.
and I make a library for them, and I just send them each week to them.
Oh, that's wonderful. So how do they measure what progress I'm making? That's the thing that's really important to me.
Well,
How do they see?
yeah, that's the thing is like when you're working with people who want a um a way of seeing how
Yes,
they're doing, this isn't an ideal tool because energies and frequencies are ever changing. But
yes,
you could offer blood tests and things. So there's blood test kits that you can get from things like people like Pacific Health, for example, which is a
yeah,
supplier. And you can go to other tests so that, people are used to having a blood test. People are used to those sorts of things and markers and finding that which worth it. So what I've learned with my clients is how do you feel? Are you feeling better? Are you feeling worse? Do you feel better after having this treatment? Or did it make you go down? And often real healing makes you go down. And so, it's having those tangible markers
yeah.
that's what you're after. And
So can you go in and see, like for instance, on one day there, or was it there's a value there, whatever it is you've got there, and then the next day they've got a different value. Does
yeah,
that
it'll be different each time. So yes, you can take note of that.
and that is does that mean can you tell whether they're making progress by those values?
I can I take note of in my a mental, I get a mental thing, right? Okay, we're working with. So, for example, when I first started using this, every day I did a test on myself because you have to. I
Mm,
noticed that B vitamins came up every time. And so after about 4 weeks of doing it, I thought, right, maybe I need to take some B vitamins. So I took B vitamins for 2 weeks, and then my ratios were normal. They were in the middle, so it was great. And I haven't taken them since, and my ratios are still in the middle. So I take note of what I'm working with clients, and so basically, if they no longer come up anymore, if they're in the middle, then it
mm,
means that we're working where everything's working. So when I look at the indicators, so for example, the indicator on pools with spiritual protection is really low. So it's 184. So what we're looking for is chronic illness is normally 200 down.
mm,
And then
yep.
acute illness is 600 up. Now, what I have observed though with people when they're working with or any chronic illness is those markers will move from the low up into the acute and before they go into the middle range.
I understand that. Yep.
So, and that's a really good sign to me. Oh, goody,
Yep.
goody two shoes. We're getting somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an important component. So, does that make sense to you?
Yes, that does.
Yeah.
Um, so the only other question I really want to know is, does it work out how, how well your body's oxidizing, how well it's what in it doesn't do that VAR hope thing, does it?
No, no.
Mm, yeah.
But then
So
again, I'm sure there's ways of doing that. Let me just have a look.
because
I'm
all my IP and my thing is all about the VAR hope, basically. It's all centered around the VAR hope.
Yeah.
How alkalized you are, how oxidized you are, and
Well, the
how
thing is that I'm not a great believer in that, you see.
you're not okay.
Because, the thing about being alkaline is a bit of a fallacy as far as I'm concerned. Because, we're all of us, every single cell of our body needs to be a different alkalinity. And so
Mm,
I think they're taking a broad view.
okay.
That's
Okay.
my interpretation, but you
I
can,
understand. That's a good point.
yeah.
I know that people that have, very acidic bodies because they are eating a lot of junk food and
Yeah.
um it's kind of like that's what I'm trying to sort of
The diet is the most important, and my ethos around that. You don't need me.
yeah, and I agree with your ethos.
Yeah. And And also I do believe in listening to your body.
Yeah.
Because if you don't listen to your body, then you're teaching people to really listen and
Yeah.
to really, really go, okay, you've got a symptom. Your symptom has got worse. Okay, what's your body trying to tell you?
Exactly.
You
Mm.
know, I think, um for this, I think training people to really empower themselves so that they can look after their own bodies is our
That's
job.
that's exactly what I'm trying to do with and educate people is what I'm trying to do with my business. Keep people well and
Yeah.
keep them informed, and that's why I have a lot of part of my website will be resources so they can do
Mm.
their own study.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I don't know if they've changed the licenses and things of the Genius. So do you want me to show you what they're doing, the prices and stuff, so you can see? So
Yeah.
if it's I'll just stop sharing there and we will share the page I've just got up if it lets me. Okay, there we go. And I always say to everyone, if you decide to purchase the Genius, buy the simplest one. Don't buy the practitioner one. The
Okay.
reason is because they give you so much libraries that you get overwhelmed. And what I found with when I bought, because I bought the most expensive one when I bought it, more for me, but I don't use their libraries hardly at all.
So which one is it you're talking about then?
I would go for the middle one where it says Genius Professional.
Genius Professional.
And
And that's
what,
American dollars?
yeah, that's American. But you
Mm.
can also buy another license that goes along with your main license. So basically, you can have two devices running from it. So, for example, if you are doing it and Tanya's doing it, then you can run two concurrently. You share the same clients, but basically, I think it's another 197 for an extra license.
Okay, sounds good.
So it's definitely worth looking at
Mm.
that. I'll
Look,
share with.
this is so much better in terms of price.
Oh,
Um,
that you
it's
could
just
actually you could get tools really for I'm just going to share the link.
see, my problem is um, now I'm feeling really even more confused. Um, my problem is that my IP is all around basically measuring people of how their cell the health of the cells, how electrical or how oxygen there is, and how much you know
Okay.
they're not too acidic. Um, how if I could solve that where I could show people this is
Yeah.
what they arrive and this is what you are when you leave, then that would fit my business model really
Yeah.
perfectly.
I wonder if
I
there's a so
and then I wouldn't have to buy a $30,000 machine,
yeah,
which is just crazy.
yeah. So there's a measuring instrument for oxygenation. So oxygen. Um Measuring instrument for body oxygenation.
And also too, so I'm going to teach people to ground. I'm a really big believer in grounding,
Yeah,
and I want to be
absolutely.
able to them to measure themselves before they ground and measure themselves after they ground.
There's a pulse oximetry is a test used to measure the oxygen level of the blood. It is easy, painless to measure how well the oxygenation. Let's have a look. So you've got a finger pulse oximeter, which is $7.70. Fingertip pulse oximeter, 105.
We've Gary and I have got a normal oxygen one, and we just put on our hat, but it's not very, you get a
Oh,
98, 97. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, I think there is. Hang on, let me just see if there's any more sort of advanced ones.
Yeah.
Is yours a pulse one or a blood one?
Pulse one.
Right, because they've got the Cleveland Clinic pulse. No, because you want a blood. Hey.
Well, I don't really know. It's just like they have in the biofeedback,
Yeah.
they have basically how well your body is
Yeah, I
processing
remember that.
oxygen,
I
which is
remember
a
that,
very
but
good thing to
but
know. Mm.
yeah, I'm not sure. I never used it really.
What about how can you tell the voltage in your body from this machine?
The what? Voltage?
Yeah.
Uh, no. Blood.
So the thing is, I've pretty well designed it all around the
Yeah,
Vahope.
yeah, I can understand that.
And
So the thing is we have to ask ourselves is when we look at those things,
mm,
we ask your clients, that's what I would say. Ask your clients, is that what they want? Because we might be looking at something and going, right, this is what my clients need,
mm.
and often it's not what they want.
I guess I guess intellectually what I'm trying to achieve is that they come in, we have two or three different reports. We measure them where they're at, and
Yeah.
then they go on a program, and then we measure them and we go, right, when when your figures are between 80 to 100
Mm,
is when you're in a safe and zone, and basically you're operating vitally.
yeah,
And that's what we're trying to do. So they have then the confidence going forward in their life that they are in a situation where they've got their body in an optimal safe zone, and they're not going to be sort of clubbed over the head of a sudden chronic disease, because they're
yeah,
doing all the right things with their lifestyle. So we've educated and changed their lifestyle. And this is the tool, this is the real tool that I wanted to be able to use. I know we've got to go. Okay, we got to go in a minute.
I'm going.
yeah, I have to. Um,
No, I'm coming with you.
Oh, come on. I'm running late.
Well, okay, well, I'll see you up there.
So-
Don't worry.
No, I'm coming.
anyway,
Yeah.
um, just if you decide to go with the Genius, let me know. Don't order it online because I can order it for you
Yeah.
and we can sort it out. Because yeah, I'll have a look into the oxygenation. Yeah, because you need to have some. I can see where you're coming from. It's having a measure that's a physical measure, really, or
Yes.
a physicality measure.
Not
And
not that I need that for myself, but I know the
yeah,
clients want to know that.
yeah, they want to be able to see how their health is improving.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's see if we can find out. I'll see. I haven't got time to do it today because I've got my Wellness Wednesday starts in a minute.
Yeah. 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 Sorry,
Um,
look, you've been really, really generous. I can
yeah,
see how the two programs would work really well together.
yeah.
Um,
I think the thing is what you'll find. I know you'll find is you'll be using the Genius more, and you'll just be using this $30,000 piece of equipment just for those measuring things, and that seems like a bit of an overkill.
right. So then the next thing is then I was trying to get hold of just a skio, just to do it, like a
Second-hand
low
one,
cost. Pardon?
second-hand one.
Yeah. You're not interested in selling yours, are you?
No, it's gone. It died. It completely died. I mean, I'd been using it and using it, so it's gone.
And that's the other problem too, is it doesn't support um they don't really support it anymore either. That's the other
Oh.
problem. Yes.
No, they didn't, and they wouldn't because my computer died as well that was on it, and updating it was going to be such a hard basket for being as I wasn't using it much anyway. So I
And
just
then so you've got some, and then you're just into trade on prices, but you still got to spend a lot of money to trade up.
mm.
So, so yeah,
Yeah, so that's what I really like about the Genius, really. There's no upgrading costs. So basically they upgrade the system, it gets upgraded.
yeah.
You don't pay
Okay,
it.
well, I'm confused now, Karen, about what to do
I'll
and where
tell
to
you
go
what I'll
forward.
do is I'll contact Ryan, who is the Genius man. He developed
Yeah.
the Genius, and I will see if there is a way that we can do those measurements because he'll know exactly what it's all about.
Okay. Karen, I'll send you my IP.
Please do.
So you can see the reports that I'm trying to do. So I'm just going to get your email. What was your email, Karen?
You can do Karen Creighton
Yeah.
444 at
Yeah.
gmail.com.
444@gmail.com. Okay, well, I'll send you. Now this is the old stuff. It's under a different name. It's
all good.
so just ignore the branding and everything, but it's got the same content.
Yeah. All right,
Okay.
cool. So we can have
and
another chat. We can have another
yeah,
chat.
we do. We'll touch base again soon. Hey, look, thank you so much for all your time. You've been wonderful.
It's a pleasure. All right.
I really-
Lots of love.
Okay, bye.